Hello, this is Organization with Olu. Today I'm going to show you how to draw wonderful diagrams, not in a robotic manner. Okay, we're not robots. You've got to feel the diagram. We don't want to draw diagrams like this, okay, just like a robot. That's not a very good robot, I know. But anyway, let's get on to this. I'm going to show you how you can draw wonderful diagrams. So stick around. I think you're going to like what I've got for you. Okay, guys, we're going to go straight into what you can end up doing if you don't fill the diagrams, if you're not connected to the diagrams. Okay, and this is an actual diagram from one of my students. Okay, this was some time ago, but it really shocked me because this was supposed to be showing a macro economy, and I was absolutely shocked when I saw this kind of diagram because I just had to realize that maybe this student doesn't really understand that when you're doing macroeconomics, you cannot use quantity. That is absolutely, you just can't do that. Okay, you're talking about output measured in as real GDP. So we had to sit my student down and really go through the basics. So sometimes you can't assume that the students know, and obviously, hopefully, you've spotted this can't be supply either. It has to be aggregate supply. This has to be aggregate demand. And also, I'm not sure what this actually is. This doesn't look like classical and it doesn't look like a Keynesian diagram. So again, I really realize that students, we really need to bring students really back into it and let them try and really understand and connect with the diagrams, not automatically just drawing diagrams, because that's what a lot of students do. They automatically just draw diagrams. Okay, so you need to really think about your diagram, think about the question, think about what's happening. How do you show the economy before this particular action happened, before government spending? Where was the economy? Again, make sure you label it correctly. Okay, you got to have your output, you got to aggregate demand. Just think about, look at your question and think about where would you show the shifts. Just it has to reflect your question. These are some of the things I've written to try and help you in trying to do fantastic diagrams. Okay, this is what I've noticed, because students diagrams is sometimes it's just really awful, and it's such an important part of your essay. Okay, think about what you actually want to show. Titles actually help. I know a lot of students don't like to put titles on their diagrams, but the good thing about putting titles is it actually makes you concentrate on what you're trying to do. For example, if this is going to be this is a diagram showing the impact of government spending, of increased government spending. Diagram showing an impact of increased government spending. It actually focuses your mind on what you're trying to do. You're trying to show an increase in government spending. Okay, you're focusing on that. Okay, so it's not a bad thing to do titles if that's going to help you focus on what you're trying to do. Okay, so that's one thing you can consider. Okay, it's not compulsory, but sometimes when you put a title, it actually makes you focus on what you're actually trying to show in your diagram. Okay, very important. It has to be part of your analysis. It has to be part of your analysis or part of your evaluation. It's not some independent artwork. Some students just stick, they just think I'm just going to do a diagram, just going to do. It has to connect with your analysis. It has to connect with your evaluation. My point is that if it's not helping your analysis, if it's not helping your evaluation, then don't bother doing diagrams. Okay, this diagram has to be part and parcel of what you're trying to do. Okay, learn to label correctly. That is so important. Do not mix micro and macro. It's just you must not do that. Okay, you must understand macro is showing the economy, where micro is really focusing on individuals, focusing on industries, stuff like that. Okay, individual firms. So you must know the difference. Okay, micro is the quantity when you're trying to show and then macro is output. Okay, you mustn't get them that mixed up. And again, demand and supply as opposed to aggregate demand and aggregate supply, fundamental things. Okay, again, another thing, do not be afraid to add more to your diagrams. For example, you can show the various price levels. If there's a movement and you want to show inflation, okay, if for example, if you were at full employment, or you did a classical diagram, you're full employment and AD shifted, you want to show an increased price level. There's nothing wrong in actually putting it in 6%. It doesn't matter. Okay, so do a lot more with your diagrams. Don't be scared of not doing enough with the diagrams. Show the impact of the multiplier. How government spending is shifted AD, and now with multiplier it shifts it even more. Show that on diagrams. Show a lot more on diagrams. Okay, again, draw good sized diagrams, not tiny diagrams. You draw a tiny diagram, it's like you're not really confident in what you're doing. large diagrams, okay? It's really, really important. Okay. Do not be afraid drawing pair of diagrams. For example, before and after. If you have time, you can, it's not a bad idea to draw a pair of diagrams. Okay. Another thing, do not use pencils. Some students use pencils. I don't know why they will use pencils to draw a diagram. And it's, oh, I'm just doing it because, but when in a real exam, I do use a black pen. Why don't you practice with what you're going to use? Use a black pen because it's what you're going to use in an exam. Okay. Very important. Again, this is not like some dessert. It's an integral part of the main meal. You know how it is when you're in a restaurant and then you've had your starter, you've had your main meal, and you're full, and someone says, "Oh, do you actually want an appetizer or something like that?" You don't want one. You just say, "Oh, go on. I'll share it with you." That is the way some students do diagrams. They've done their essay. Oh, let me just chuck in a diagram. I'll just chuck it in. That is not the way you do diagrams. A diagram has to be an integral part of the main meal, integral part of your essay. It has to be part of your essay. It can't be just an afterthought, okay? It can't be an afterthought. Joking aside, it has to be part of your essay. It cannot be an afterthought. So think about that. And also decide whether or not a Keynesian or classical is more appropriate. Okay, I know the specification says you can either show classical, you can either do Keynesian, but sometimes classical is more appropriate. Sometimes Keynesian is more appropriate. Look at what you're trying to show. What are you trying to show? What shows it best, Keynesian or classical? There's a difference, big difference. So you need to be able to utilize the diagrams in the right manner. Okay. So hopefully you've understood all this, guys. And the most important thing, you've got to practice your diagrams. Practice your diagrams. Get the labeling right. Feel the diagrams. When I say feel it, when you're writing your essay, it has to be, like I said, part of your essay. It has to help you get more marks as opposed to just sticking it in because, oh, I think there should be a diagram. Let me just stick it in. Okay. So hopefully, guys, this is going to help you. And now on, you're going to actually focus a lot more on your diagrams. It's going to boost your grades. Okay. So smash the like button and please subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.